Okay, so we still don't know what this guy yelled. We're hearing multiple reports about him yelling something. Why can't we hear from any of these eyewitnesses? I've only heard one eyewitness say the guy had a long gun. And so he also said he looked the shooter directly in the eye, and then the shooter didn't kill him. Why didn't the shooter shoot the guy if this was a random attack? He's just spraying bullets around. Why didn't he shoot the guy he came eye to eye with? That's weird. We're also hearing interesting reports that the vice president of the Brown Republicans might have been shot multiple times. We still don't understand if this was a targeted shooting, and they're not giving us any clue about that. We also need to know, do you need to swipe a card before you get into this building? We're hearing you have to swipe cards. So was this guy a student? Did he have access to the building? Is he an international student? How many international students do they have at Brown University? It's been a very thorny issue, the issue of the Palestinian situation. There's been a lot of action, a lot of protests at Brown University. Does that concern them? Is there an international angle that they're concerned about? Still don't know about that. How about the one reporter who asks, well, we talked to a bunch of the residents and businesses that are a block away, and they say the cops never came to ask them for the Ring camera videos until this morning. So 4 days later, we're still not really flooding the zone. We're not flooding it with police. We're not flooding it with information. And the president of the university, I mean, everybody's talking about these websites being taken down.
Right.
And she has no idea. Right afterwards, in the aftermath, immediately, she had no idea what the class was.
Right.
How is she, the leader of the school, so unaware about?
Hey, welcome into Courageous Media. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. Thanks so much for being here. I believe she's unaware because she doesn't want to be aware. Realize that there is something fishy going on in Rhode Island after this clear terror attack. Now, I say clear, allegedly, because we don't have all the evidence, because we haven't been shown anything. What we do know is that there is either the most incompetent police department in the world, which I don't believe, as well as a completely botched FBI operation to help them, or what you've got is actual malfeasance. Remember that a lot of people, remember the old saying, compounded negligence is actually malfeasance. Yes, when you have compounded negligence over and over and over again, what that actually is intended bad behavior. And what we've got going on up in Rhode Island after this Brown University shooting is nothing short of spectacularly buffoonish. It is so bad that people are now, it's become clear that there is something being covered up here. The university is now scrubbing their website, social media, everything for a particular Palestinian jihadi activist. While we now know that there are multiple eyewitness accounts of the shooter actually saying Allahu Akbar before taking the shots. Now you've got serious problems with a cover-up happening in Rhode Island. And where is the FBI? Where is the FBI in all this? Now, obviously, it is not their investigation. It is a local homicide case. So the FBI does not have immediate jurisdiction. However, you can certainly start to impose. When feds want to impose, they impose. Now, to their credit, Bongino and Patel have not necessarily imposed their will all the time, but this might be one where they need to look at this and go, no. This is a terror attack. We, the FBI, are taking over. This is ridiculous. But you've got also internal strife going on at the FBI with reports now that Bongino has had enough of this nonsense and he's out. So we got all sorts of stuff to cover. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. Thanks so much for being here. Resnap in the house. Hello, pages from our Rhode Island, our Democratic leaders. They could F up a wet dream. Oh my gosh. Well, really appreciate you being in, Resnap. Hey, Valley guys, I really appreciate you being here. All right, let's dive right into this. We got a great little intro video. I want to get into this from Steve Turley, Patriot Professor. Check this out because he has some really interesting things to say on this whole matter. Here we go.
Professor Rachel Friedberg's introductory economics final. The shooter didn't say a word. He just started pulling the trigger. 11 rounds found their targets. 2 students didn't make it out. The first victim was Ella Cook, 19, from Birmingham, Alabama. She was vice president of Brown's College Republicans, a parishioner at the Cathedral Church of the Advent, and by all accounts, exactly the kind of young conservative leader this country needs more of. The second was Mukhammad Aziz Umurzokov, 18, from Brandermill, Virginia. His family immigrated from Uzbekistan when he was just a child. He was majoring in biochemistry and neuroscience. Now, initial police reports claimed the suspect was in custody at 4:50 p.m. However, they retracted that 20 minutes later. Then they sent out an alert about gunfire near Governor Street at around 5:30 p.m., only to call it unfounded by 6. The confusion wasn't accidental. The more we're learning, the more we're finding out it was institutional panic. We are now on day 4 of the largest manhunt in Rhode Island history. The FBI is offering $50,000 for information leading to an arrest. Over 200 tips have poured in. Nearly 100 are still being actively investigated. And yet, despite that, authorities have yet to name a single suspect. They have yet to identify a motive. They have yet to explain why a person who was surveilling the area for 6 hours left zero forensic evidence. Oh, to that end, that snowstorm that hit Saturday night, it destroyed any chance of collecting fingerprints or DNA from outdoor scenes, almost like the shooter knew the effects of the forecast. But now we've got breaking news that appears to be taking this institutional panic to an entirely new level. While the FBI was canvassing Providence, social media noticed something strange. A first-year student by the name of Mustapha Kharbouch had vanished from Brown's website. Not just his profile, we're talking every mention of him, every article, every trace. According to reports, Kharbouch is a third-generation Palestinian refugee from Lebanon, studying international affairs and anthropology with a focus on the Middle East.
Now, I'm sorry, this whole thing just smacks of a cover-up. It smacks of, now it may be a cover-up simply for PR reasons. It may be that Brown University, a major DEI, liberal university that hates Trump, that loves everything, Muslim, refugee, illegal alien, anything that's globalist or anti-American, they love that. And the fact that this was appears to be a targeted attack with the vice president of the Young Republicans Club and a Christian being shot multiple times in a, quote, random, let's just, shooter walks in and just starts taking pot shots. But we've got reports now that she was shot multiple times. Then there were other victims. We have reports of somebody looking him in the eye and not getting shot, which would again say that this was a targeted attack. Now you've got this person completely disappearing from anything related to university, electronic, websites, electronic media, any of that. This smacks of whether Brown University is just trying to cover up the fact that it was a terror attack, or they're trying to cover up the fact that they let this person on campus, that they had prior knowledge that this person was dangerous, that they actively covered up this person probably being here illegally, all sorts of things. Let's keep going.
His now deleted profile described him as a community organizer who attended United World College Maastricht on scholarship and helped with community building initiatives and social change roles. Within hours of the shooting, his digital footprint was systematically erased. When the conservative X account End Wokeness posted screenshots asking why, Brown University blocked him. Not responded, blocked. When Laura Loomer claimed she found a YouTube account under the same name featuring Islamic videos about electronic devices, the questions multiplied. And when the incredibly incompetent president of Brown University was asked about all this, she gave a comparably incompetent answer.
Shooting, I believe some web pages for students or faculty have been taken down. Is that a response to any external threats to anyone in the community?
We have been working very closely with law enforcement to provide them with all of the internal to Brown information that they need to do this investigation. It's their investigation. They're the professionals. So we're providing information. We're not in the job of reviewing it for them. I know nothing about web pages being taken down as part of this. It's the first I've heard of it.
I know nothing. I see nothing. I hear nothing. Exactly. This whole thing, you've got 800 cameras around campus. We're hearing now that you actually had to scan a badge to get into the building. So if you do that, you know exactly who walked in, who at least you know who scanned in based on the badge and who scanned out. You've got cameras everywhere. You're telling me that a modern university with 800 cameras canvassing the area, with a gentleman shown for 6 hours canvassing the joint, you can't find this person? Please. This is absolutely ridiculous. They haven't found this person because they don't want to find this person. And the reason they don't want to find this person is because it goes against their elitist, globalist, liberal narrative. Check this out.
The police did a press conference yesterday, and they would not confirm what the shooter yelled out before he started shooting. So you had a room of 60 students, 11 which have been shot, 2 are now dead. But that means that there are, at least they said somewhere around 60, 40 students who are in there who could confirm what this man shot. At least 5 students that I have seen have confirmed on the record in media interviews saying that he yelled Allahu Akbar. Well, I think that that's pretty relative information. I think that that would matter as there's a massive search for the shooter. Did he yell Allahu Akbar? Because then we should be looking for a, free Palestine terrorist. And Reddit yesterday, by the way, had to shut down the Brown University board because Free Palestine students were celebrating Ella Cook's death. The police did a press conference.
So you've got Free Palestinian types celebrating the death of Ella Cook. Now it looks very much like she was targeted. Now it's becoming more and more clear that this was a Islamic terrorist attack. This is just absolutely, and the Brown University administration, along with the corrupt police force in Rhode Island, have done nothing to apprehend this killer. Meanwhile, you've got the FBI, don't know what they're doing. They've completely dropped the ball on this when they should be saying, no. Okay, we're taking over. This is an international terror attack or a domestic terror attack. We're done. You're going to answer to us now. This is just, the whole thing smacks of, we don't want to talk about the inconvenient truth. And that is that Islamic terrorism is a major problem in the United States, especially considering the number of quote unquote refugees we have allowed in the country over the last 4 years. And the fact that we know, based on CBP reports, that there are easily over 1 million national security threats that were let in under Biden. This is just absolutely egregious. And Kash Patel, where are you? Where is the FBI in this? I understand that Dan Bongino might have had enough. There are reports that he is out, that he's going to be out in the next couple of weeks, that he's basically tendered his resignation. I haven't seen anything official to that, Rep. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Bongino out? Has Bongino had enough? Frankly, I think Trump needs to grab his left nut, tell Kash Patel he's done, and put Dan Bongino in charge. Along with a mandate very similar to Tulsi Gabbard, that everything will be above board, that everything will be transparent. And if that means we tube a couple prosecutions in order to make sure that, or make them harder in order to make sure that the public knows what the FBI is doing, then so be it. This is just absolutely ridiculous. Let me go. What you guys think? Really appreciate everybody rolling up. All right, I got one more story I want to cover because this is just this is an absolute gem. The gem of this is that the Dems are really going to die on the "we love narco terror drug dealer" that hill. It's absolutely amazing. Check this out. This is great stuff as we dive into our next story, which is more of the Trump administration's randomly targeting boats and calling them narco-terror boats, narco-drug boats, is falling apart completely. Check this out.
4 years ago, we watched drugs pour across an open border. Today, 87 narco-terrorists are dead and 23 boats are on the ocean floor because one president decided to fight back. Since September 2nd, 2025, President Trump's military has executed 22 precision strikes on narco-terrorist vessels on the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. 87 dead, 23 boats reduced to ash. These aren't abstract tallies. They're the body count of a socialist regime that weaponized cocaine and fentanyl precursors to kill our children. Nicolas Maduro's Cartel de las Soles.
Welcome back to Courageous Media. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. Thanks so much again for being here on this beautiful hump day. If you could, please smash that like button for me. Subscribe. It really helps us out in the YouTube algorithm, which we are very much behind in because they don't like our channel for lots of reasons, I assume. But please smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Really appreciate everybody being here. All right, so we have got great news. As you know, the media has been apoplectic, talking about the fact that Trump is just randomly targeting boats in the Caribbean and in the Eastern Pacific, and they have no way to know that there are drugs on these boats and blah, 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 blah. They even have the seditious six out there making videos saying for the military to disobey orders. It's just absolutely nuts. But now we have from an actual Democrat debunking the entire story that there is some random targeting of boats, that no one knows what they're doing. And the opposite is actually true, that between the intelligence services and the Department of War, they know exactly what they are doing. They are being extremely precise, and they are not mincing words anymore. It is no longer about the detention. It is about what Trump said in his press conference. We don't need a declaration of war. We are simply going to kill every single person that tries to bring drugs into our country. Now, check this out. We're going to start with our friend, Scott Jennings, as he absolutely owns this CNN panel on the Abby Phillips show, talking about the fact that now we know that the Democrats actually know the truth, but they are spinning lies in the media. Check this out.
I can report to you what Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman. So you have
it's all real, but we can't ever let you see it.
These are classified briefings, but you have a United States Senator of the president's opposition party saying, I got a briefing, I saw the intelligence, and we know exactly what we're doing.
You know, they lied for months. It was about fentanyl.
If you want to call John Fetterman a liar, go ahead. But that's what he said.
It's a lie that fentanyl comes from Venezuela. And then they corrected that lie and changed it to cocaine. They can't keep their story straight. We are murdering people in foreign waters because we want 17% of the world's oil.
It had nothing to do with oil. We don't need Venezuelan oil. We can be the #1 producer of oil in the world with our own reserves right now. We don't need Venezuelan oil. What Trump has said over and over again is he is going to take the fight to the cartels and to the narco states. Now, just so you know, here's from the horse's mouth himself. Here's Fetterman on News Nation talking about the classified briefing that he received. Check this out.
What did you learn, Senator, that gave you any comfort that we're not heading into some kind of extended military exercise around Venezuela or in Venezuela?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was pretty comprehensive, and this idea, some things out in the media, it's kind of putting out this that the military is just picking off any boat that comes across. That's just not true. I mean, there's extensive intelligence, and they know exactly who's on that boat, and they know what's actually on that boat right now. And it's quite frequently they decline to take it and to move on those things. When they move on those kinetic kinds of strikes, they have absolute confidence that who's on it and what's on it, and that's exactly what it's about. They're not just going around randomly just shooting boats and those things. That's just not the fact.
So now you've got Democrats debunking their own talking points. Fetterman, who I thought was a complete and utter buffoon when he got elected in 2020. I mean, it was the jokes came from this seat quite often. Uncle Fester, Lurch, you name it. The man could hardly speak. He wore sweatpants. He doesn't even wear a suit. He still doesn't wear a suit. But now, fast forward 5 years, and John Fetterman is the lone voice of reason in a Democrat Party that has gone completely socialist, communist, Islamist, globalist. It's crazy. He is like the lone voice of reason in the Democrat Party. So he got his classified briefing and actually said, no, they know exactly who's on these boats. And which is why I want to see the drug boats are great. Sink 23 of them, sink 230 of them, bomb every single one of them. I say even go with the ones with less confidence. I don't care. What we need to do, I want to see drone strikes on land, go after the production facilities. If we've got the intel, if the CIA is worth its salt, go find out where the production facilities are, where the warehousing or the distribution, choke point facilities are, and go bomb them out of existence with drones, drone strikes, long range parabolic airstrikes, you name it, precision guided munitions. Take the fight to them, whether it's in Venezuela or Mexico or Colombia or Panama. I don't care. Find these narco-terrorists, find the cartels, and decapitate them. Decapitate their production capability and decapitate their leadership. What great way, what better way to use a bunch of CIA assets than go to the cartel leaders and take them out? That's what I would like to see. Let me know what you think in the comments. Meanwhile, we've also got straight from Secretary of State Marco Rubio talking about the same thing that Fetterman just said, debunking these ridiculous lies that the libs love to tell. Here we go.
These traffickers of poison. Yeah, I can tell you this, the Department of Defense doesn't take this lightly. There are many boats running through that region, some of which we suspect may have drugs on them, and they don't take shots at them because they need to know with 100% certainty. I can't tell you the tactics or how it comes about in terms of how we gather the intelligence, but suffice it to say, the Department of War has tremendous confidence in the way they are gathering information. They know who's on those boats. They know what those boats are doing. And I would ask people for some common sense, okay? What is a boat doing 15 miles into international waters with 450 engines on the back of it, no fishing rods, clear markings of drugs on those boats? We know who these boats are. We've known who these boats are for a very long time. In the past, there's been efforts to interdict them. Now the effort is to stop them. They are headed towards the United States through a logistics chain they've created in the Caribbean, and that needs to stop. For the first time in our history, the U.S. military is operating in our region, in our hemisphere, against these traffickers of poison who are ultimately winding up in our streets, contributing to crime.
Exactly. The U.S. military, what they hate is the U.S. military is no longer spending American blood and treasure, 7,000 miles away in the Middle East, in Syria, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in other ridiculous parts of the world that we have frankly no business being in. No. We have now completely reversed that and are once again upholding the Monroe Doctrine, which is within North, Central, and South America, you will either be pro-US or we are going to disrupt anything that you do. The Monroe Doctrine says we will dominate our hemisphere. What happens in Syria or Iran, frankly, I've stopped caring. Other than Iran not getting a nuclear weapon, I really don't care. They can all bomb themselves into submission. We have more than enough oil for the whole world. We can be the largest exporter of energy on the planet, whether that's crude or actual refined petroleum products or liquid natural gas. We can be the number one exporter. We can be the world's giant energy producer. We don't need OPEC anymore. We've figured out the technology that allows us to tap reserves that dwarf OPEC. We don't need it. What we need is to dominate our hemisphere, the Monroe Doctrine. And that starts with completely, not just hindering, completely eliminating the cartels and the narco-terrorists. Let's take the fight to them even more. 23 drug boats is a good start. It is not enough. Bomb their logistics routes, bomb their production facilities, bomb their their distribution points, decapitate the cartels all throughout the region. That's what I say. Let me know what you think. You guys are really amazing. Really appreciate everybody rolling up today. Thanks so much for being here. Smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notifications. If you like the content, please share Courageous Media with everybody that you go, or everybody that you know. Check this. Have a great day. Remember that God is good and he is sovereign. It'll all be good in the end. Till I catch you next time.